Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just gonna wait for everyone to kind of pour in here, and then we'll get it started. Mr. Needham, good morning. How are you doing? Sky, good morning. Ed, good morning. Iffy, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Awesome. Nice and early getting people coming in here. Tony, good morning. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. G5, good morning. Those of you that are here, give me a quick test here with the voice, the screen. If you guys can see everything, if you can see my mouse moving. I am trying this on the new desktop, so hopefully it goes on without a hitch. Now, if it does freeze some way throughout the time, I will have to apologize in advance because it's been doing that for some time. But just wanted to check it out, see how the new system works out on the stream. Tiffany, good morning. Gary, good morning. Sammy, good morning. Nancy's good. Ed says video and audio all good. Perfect. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Awesome. Everyone is saying everything is perfect. It's good to hear. Sky, yes, everything is good. Perfect. All right, guys. So as usual, we'll wait till around 8:35 before we get things started here. Yes, it's all good. Voice and mouse. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Mozam, good morning. Guys, we're gonna wait a few more minutes here till 8:35, and then we'll get things cracking. We'll get it cracking. All right. Let's take a look at a few things here. .33, 8:34 now, so we'll wait one more minute and we'll get things popping. All right, we put the "We are live" out. Don, good morning, my man. Yeah, jobless numbers came out. Every Thursday, these numbers do come out. So it's good to kind of keep on watch and see how the market reacts to it. Nancy says, smash the like button, everybody. Edgar, good morning, my man. Alright, guys, so let's get right to it. First and foremost, I want to take a second and apologize for my stuffiness and my sniffles here. And I might cough here and there, so excuse me in advance. I'm just getting a little bit of a cold. I'll get over it here soon, shortly. But with that said, let's get right into it. So if you guys have been kind of following me on TikTok and whatnot, you know that on this day we established if we get under that 441.20, we're really going to get a big yank down, and we got just that. Now the reason behind that was, we fell pretty hard last week on the 20th. We pushed up here. The issue was the push up was on low decreasing volume, and then we came into those moving averages, right? So as long as these moving averages are under us, they're acting as support, right? Once we break under it, and we talked about getting a 2 or 3 day close under it, then it becomes an issue, right? If you guys follow the newsletter that I send out every week, I said if we get 2 or 3 closes under the 50, that's when we start seeing some issues. And we got the first close, the second close, the third close, and then we pop back up, right? Where did we pop up to? We popped up to the moving averages, right? Then we put in an inside day, which is a little technical setup here. If we break under the 441, we get that yank. We got that. Yet here we are again with another inside day. Inside day simply means this entire candle is there, and then the day after you have the entire price action taking place within the previous day's entire price action, right? Obviously this day is a lot bigger, so it takes a lot more to have an inside day the day after following such a big move. However, we did have an inside day here, okay? So a few things to monitor here. If we can get back above this 437 area, it would actually be a good sign, because we could try to push back up to this area of the 440 and then push back up to the 441 and see how we can hold up there. Now the downside of it is if we break this 433, the bottom of this candle here, 433.90, right, which was a level that we were holding very well all day yesterday, then we really open up to that 433. And then if we break that, then we're looking at another leg down, and we'll have to play the levels at that point. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at a closer time frame here into the SPY. Let's put our levels back up and see what's going on here. All right, guys. So here's the levels. Let me know if you can see this chart pretty clearly. Again, I'm working with a bigger monitor, so what I was showing you guys before on the desktop is slightly different. But let me know if you guys can see this. I might have to kind of zoom in for you guys. This is probably a lot better for your guys to kind of take a look at here. So we'll keep it at this here. So the level that we're kind of looking at, okay, we need to hold this level here, the 435.69, in order to attempt to move higher, right? If we can't, look at the range we were kind of stuck in. Yesterday we were stuck in 436.75, and we were stuck at the 433.90, right? So if we open and we plow through this 436.75, then we get into that position where I was talking about, of getting over this high and then pushing back up towards that 440 area, right? However, if we lose this and then come back down and try to attempt this 433.90 and we see some weakness, we can really try to break and then fall further lower and create that other leg down. All right, so that's going to be the main area to kind of monitor. Besides that, once we open and we kind of get direction here, you really want to keep an eye on this 436.75 and then the 433.90. We need to go one way or the other in order for, the people who are day trading need a direction. This type of action right here that took place is not something that we want. This is just premium kill, and it's going to be really hard to kind of scalp this from the top to the bottom, right? So again, need a direction, hopefully long over that 436.75. Then we can attempt the 437.80, 438, 440, and then ultimately that 441.20 on the top side, right? Break below, come down, lose the 433, then you open up for a little bit of a bigger pull down here. We're looking at a move towards 430, and then ultimately the 428.75 or the 428 area. Okay, so that's as far as the SPY goes. Now let's take a look at the QQQ. We'll go to the QQQ. We'll take a clean chart, and excuse me. Same story here, right, guys? We had that pull down. Although the first yank wasn't as bad as the SPYs, we did pull down under the 50. We had two close under the 50, pop back up. The 20 was acting as resistance. We kind of got a similar yank because of the market, and we pulled down, and now we are actually showing weaker strength against the market. We're showing relative weakness against the market on the Qs. Why? Because one, we broke this prior low right here, right? Let me get my price level up. We broke this prior low right here. And then yesterday we broke even yesterday's low right here, right? So we have a lot of room here to fall if this continues to show weakness. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on here as well. All right, now let's get into the closer time frames, put our levels, and see what we're looking at in regards to what levels to watch. So here we are with the Qs, okay? The 360.48 level, again, is a level that we need to monitor. We're holding it fairly well here in the pre-market. We need to continue to hold it if we're looking for an upside move. If we can hold it, right, we'll get a push to that 361.55. Really need to clear that. And also you can see on the 15-minute, we have this 200 moving average kind of acting as resistance here. So it's lining up with this 361.55. And if we can clear that, hold above the 361.55, we're looking at a 362.76 move, which happens to be closer to yesterday's resistance areas. Excuse me. And then over that, we're going towards the 364 level, right? Obviously, breaking these levels, we're trying to attempt these highs here to see if we can clear that. But 364, 365 is the area you're looking at if we can get through this 361.55. Now on the downside, you always have to obviously prepare yourself. We can't just plan for one way, we got to plan for the other way as well. And that is if we lose the 360.48. If we lose the 360.48, we're going to get that yank back down to where? This area of support. We can see we have support here, the 359.34. Yes, we pull down under it, but we're keeping the candles nearly closed above that line. This is why I say, for you new traders, you guys should be using boxes instead of lines as your support and resistances, right? When new traders start using just price lines, they get too focused on this figure and lose track of, it's just an area you need to monitor. It's not just that exact figure, right? So for new traders, use boxes and have boxes as your support and resistance lines. So obviously, again, if we lose at 359.40, we could see a test of that 358, lose the 358, and we really open up here, right? If we lose the 358 level, we're looking at 356.44 and ultimately to 355. Now we need this level to hold. If we can't hold this level, then we just open up a big can of worms, because then we can go to 353, but we're not going to get that move down today, right? If we pull and we lose these levels here, 359.30s, then we can see a pull possibly down to the 355, but we're not going to get a big enough collapse to come down to the 353. All right. So that's as far as the QQQs and the SPY goes. With that said, I'm going to jump into chat here, see if you guys have any tickers you want me to take a look at. And we'll go from there. Sky says, I won't be calm unless we are above the 20 moving average. And you should definitely, that's exactly what, you gotta take into consideration. Unless we see a reversal, unless we're back above the moving averages, then we really gotta work on our defense and not so much the offense. All right, Ed says all clear. Bishnu says shop and Twitter, please. So let's take a look at shop. So shop coming back down, once it lost this area of 1400 on shop, because we had this clear move up, there wasn't much price action here. So we're falling straight back down. We have some support at 1328. We have 200 moving averages, 1300. This might be an area that you might want to consider some, some entries for your long term. On the short term, I don't see much here. You still need time for this to kind of balance out, set up. Maybe show you a reversal pattern, and then if it does, you can try to ride it back up to 1435. But other than that, it's just falling right now. It's falling. You need to find support at these 1330, 1300 levels in order to trade it on the top side. Twitter looking rough as well here. 1, 2, 3 big candles. Some support here at the 59, 58 level. So again, even with this one, you're gonna have to wait for some sort of consolidation pattern to present itself in order for you to find a reversal or a breakdown to trade. Just catching a falling knife with no exit plan here is not something that you want to do. Relaxing, calming sounds says good morning. Aman, path entry for long. So when you guys ask me about long term, I'm really hoping you have studied the company, you understand their financials, you understand what they're doing. Because this is a fairly new chart, this pattern is actually bearish under 51. I'm looking to take this on the downside actually. Yeah, so under the 51 it will fall, but again, in the long term, you're not really worried about the short term moves, and you should be so confident in your research and you understand the financials, the balance sheet, their cash on hand, their future outlook, that you're willing to invest your money into the company and hold 2 or 3 years. Because this is a newer chart, we don't have any support levels. So if you buy here and this thing decides to come down to $30, $25, are you willing to hold through that pain? If yes, then you're buying the stock at its lowest point here. You could start a 1/5 position here and then see how it goes. You can then wait, see if it gets down to the 40. You can try to do a second position there. But what I wouldn't do is buy a full position here, investing in long term, because if we break the 51.50, there's really nothing holding us to go down to the 40 level. SoFi. God, do I hate this name. I just can't stand this name. There's nothing here. Pop, sold off, bag holder chart. The 200 moving average is starting to come in here. Found some consolidation here at the 1450, 15 level. If you're looking to get entries on this in the short term, there's obviously no setup. If we pull back to the 1540, 1450 area, you could start a position with stops right around 1356. It looks like it has some decent support here at the 1450 level. So you could try it there and ride the wave up. Other than that, there is really nothing in SoFi for me to be excited about. MRIN, terrible chart, bag holder chart, pop gets stuffed, pop gets stuffed. Another one I don't want to trade, will not trade. If it loses this level here at 820, it's going to pull to the 720 area and then possibly back down to these support areas. Nothing there on MRIN. Put your money somewhere else, in my opinion. Support on JD. So JD, nice break of the prior lows here. Unfortunately, I was not able to catch this yesterday, but this is a beautiful pull from 73 all the way down to 71.45 area. Not much support here on JD. You see this big hollow spot, right? I mean, the bottom of this candle is not going to act as support here. So we have come into a space where we have a big hollow area. We could very well come back down to the 65.92 in the days to come, or unless if we get buyers to kind of step up right here at this level. If we get buyers to kind of step up right here at this level, which is around the 69, maybe over there is when we'll find some support on this thing. All right, but again, I wouldn't count on that too much because we've plowed through it already once, and we have a big gap to fill from here to at least this area down here. Okay, so maybe the 69 area will find some support, but under that we're looking at 65.92 area or 66 area. Tesla point of entry for day trade. Tesla point of entry for day trade. So let's take a look at Tesla. Not interested in Tesla unless we get over 7.99. That's the only time I'll look to day trade it. just way too choppy, way too sideways action for me. You could try an early entry over the 794 area, 793.50 area, and then you can kind of ride that wave to the 799 and see if we can plow through it. Okay. Again, only entries would be 793.50 for a move towards 799, and then ultimately where I want it is a break of 799 for a push to the 820. Will it happen today? I'm not sure. It'll be way too extended if it does get up here to the 800 level for me to take a position on it. But if you want to day trade it, 793.50 triggers for a push to 799. Someone's asking about profit targets on win, and entries was at 81.90. All right. So 81.90 was your entry. I'm guessing you took the reversal of this candle pattern right here. 81.90 was your entry. This area is clearly resistance, right? Because if you break that, you're going to go through the gap. You're going to go into the gap fill mode, right? My first targets on this would have been 8660, 8665, or 8650. If I got it at 81.90, that 8650 would have been my first area of profit taking, right? It's rejecting, coming back down. So what you could do is move your stops to your entries if you want, or keep your original stops if you had one, and then see if we can plow through this 8650. And then at least if you do that, you can look for targets of 88.87, which is the 20-day moving average in the short term. What do you think about the government shutdown and if we should be extra careful? I think all that fluff that you hear in the news, just put it away. Focus on your levels, focus on your charts. Don't get too caught up in what CNBC and what the governments and what all these people are telling you. Okay, just ignore that. At the end of the day, the money is going to come in and out as it's going to, whether you read the news and give yourself extra panic. Okay, what you read in the news is going to be put out there, and there's always going to be two sides of an opinion. Okay, but as a new trader, the only thing you're going to do is add a bias to your trading. By doing that, you're going to try to stick on one side of the trade, whereas the big money is going to come in and do whatever the hell they want anyways. So follow the chart. Don't get too caught up in what's going on in the news, and just follow the price action. If the price action is doing one thing, then you will follow the patterns and do the exact same thing. But for you to be caught up in, oh my God, is the government going to shut down? Will the stock market just collapse? And you start buying puts, and they come out and say, hey, surprise, nothing's going to happen. We're going to continue, operating, whatever the case may be, and the market goes back up. Well, you just got yourself in a position where, you're stuck in a bad spot here, right? Guys, before I get into the next ticker, there's about 30 of you here and only 11 likes. So go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys do that. The YouTube algorithm does love it for some reason, not sure why. But go ahead and smash that like button. And I'll get into the next one here. Jumia. So Jumia, this is a long term for me that's taking a beating, but I will be holding on to this. I do believe in what the company does and what they're doing. But if you're asking me about Jumia, I'm not really sure what Jumia ? You got to be a little bit more detailed in your question in regards to that. Are you trying to short it? Are you trying to buy it? Are you holding it for long term? Do you want to day trade it? But again, I'll just explain here. I don't see anything in the short term. In the long term, ads around $17 seem to be a good area as it's finding some support. Under that, the 1440 area is probably where I'll add next. Hopefully, I'm hoping it doesn't even get down there at this point. I just want this to kind of start curling around, but it is something I'm invested in long term, and I'm looking at least 2 years on this name right here. Will PaySafe get a push after Fubo deal? So, I don't know, PaySafe. Doesn't look like it. So here's what I mean again with you guys, trying to get involved with the news. You're trying to see it if it will happen. Should I buy it just in case if it does go up, right? You're trying to anticipate something, and the chart doesn't show that, right? It's a total colossal collapse ever since this name has been out. Just boom, 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 straight going down. It lost its, I believe it was a SPAC. It lost its SPAC price, and it's just collapsing further and further and further and further. Where's the bottom of this chart, right? So obviously in the short term, there's nothing. It lost support right here, right? It lost support, fell down, not much here. You're catching a falling knife. I would definitely wait for pops towards the 20, and then even look for puts at that point, because every time it pops back up to these 20 and the 50s, collapses. 2050 collapses. Not something I want to get involved in, considering all the moving averages are pointing down. Open an MU at good entries. Open a little bit higher than I would want to get for long-term entries here. Again, if you've done the research, I think that 14, 15 area was good. Here, if you're buying up here, you got to buy at least 1/7, 1/8, only because you're buying into resistance. 200 moving average is going to be a resistance. So if you buy here, it could pull down to the 50 where you can add again, and then possibly the 1430. You have to have options, right? Maybe buy 1/5 of your position here. Look to add down here. This is, again, if you've done your research and understand what the company does, and if they're going to be around for a long term. MU is not a bad area to start a long term. Again, I wouldn't go full size, and long term we're talking 2+ years here, guys. So if your long term is 2 weeks, then we're on the wrong page. So you could start here at around the $69.30 to $70 area, start a position, and then look to add towards the 62 area, and then ultimately the 55. Again, I'm not saying these are going to go down there, but you need to have the ability to add if it does go down there. Just like you're holding long term, you want to be able to add on the long term pulls if it does happen. Obviously, this chart is now under all moving averages, so it's a little bit concerning. Red bars coming in here. So if we do break these lows, and there's no support until 64, so add 1/4, 1/5 here. Look to add towards a 64, 62 area, and get yourself a nice average on this. G5, great advice. Vishnu, thank you so much. Mr. Needham, thank you so much. No problem, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As you guys know, every Thursday I do go live at 8:30 just to come on here, talk a little bit about the market, answer your questions, and hopefully give you guys some of my ideas on some of the tickers that you're looking at, and hopefully you learn a thing or two while we are on this live. All right, guys. So again, appreciate every single one of you. We're just coming up to 9 a.m. here, so I'll stick around for 2 minutes, but if you guys don't have any questions, we'll sign out here, and we'll catch you guys all next week at 8:30 a.m. Make sure you tune in, and we'll catch you guys all then. You're very welcome, Nancy. Alright, we'll do the last one here, TLRY. TLRY and most wheat stocks are taking a beating here. Not something I would trade in the short term. Under 11, you're looking at a nice pull back down towards that $10.50, $10 area, and then ultimately the $9.19. If you're not in a position, I would definitely wait and do more research on this company. Possibly start positions maybe at around 9 or even 780 would be the ideal area. All right, guys. So we're coming into 9 a.m. here. Appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me on Discord. I'll answer your questions there as well. Doesn't have to be all the time on live, but I'll help you guys as much as I can. Again, thank you guys all for tuning in, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll catch you next week.